You're endless.
Oh, good
The
evening,
endless loop.
everyone. Welcome to Nuts Boys and the Baltic Star. They're making fun of me because I'm making so many mistakes today. But thank you all for joining myself and a beardless one and a hairless one. It's very confusing for me right now. It's like I've lost two friends and come across two strangers, two very handsome strangers, nonetheless. But welcome this evening to the Boys and the Baltic Star. If it is your first time here, you are very, very welcome. We normally run 2.5 hours and it's role playing. And tonight we play Traveller, which is our ongoing science fiction adventure. I hope you enjoy it. Please feel free to stay for as long or short as you wish. If you don't like it, that's absolutely fine. Thank you for giving us a go. If you're busy, that's cool too. But thank you for giving us a punt, as it were. If you're one of our regulars or you're sort of a returnee, you're very welcome, and we thank you so much for your returningness, you crazy fools. If you want to chat, please feel free to chat. Chat is always friendly when there are people chatting, and we interact when we're not busy on stream, which is quite often. And we often what you say in chat will spill over into our stream. We're quite interactive in that way. We're not precious about this. It's all a horrific spillage, and people watching on VOD are just confused. And that's the way we like it. If you want to lurk, please feel free to lurk. We love our lurkers, and we'll never shout you out as a lurker. There's something else you can do with the red sun. You can click on that. That is the Imperial credits, and you can spend some points, which you'll get for being here for a while. There's a whole range. Some help us. Some are frustrating. I didn't do our intro today. I just realised, oh, what a mistake. I got too carried away. But there's lots of things you can do there. There's a new one today. For 500 credits, you can make us toast you, which is quite exciting. Prove how amazing you are. So look at the points, see how you want to spend them. Save all your credits to give Ewan and I some boons, of course, the most important thing. Ben has shown the most important one, of course, though, is that we keep a single credit, nice and cheap, that anyone can do at any time. But I'll drink to that. So if something is said or there's some drinking involved in the game or a toast, you can always throw out the single credit. I'll drink to that to be interactive. What else? I don't know really. Team Yana, let's put that up. So there's a bit of interactivity. Now, you'd understand what Yana was if I played the intro properly, but for some reason I forgot it today and I have no idea why. But there she is. Yana and Steve Muffin are dueling hosts in this science fiction future. And Yana was the main host, an ongoing host of a program that happens after our show, you know. But she's been replaced recently by Steve Muffin, and the crowd are mixed over which one they prefer out of Yana and Muffin, including our hosts are confused as well. So, speaking of our hosts, who are they? Well, my name is Luke. Hello, I'm in the bottom right-hand corner in my bluey grey background, in my grey E-top. And I play two people in this adventure. I play Kara and I play Soraya. And so, can someone exclamation mark me, please? So Kara is a oh, thanks. I appreciate you. Kara is a human artist. Look there, she is at the top. She's not very strong, but she's smart and educated. She's a good carouser, a persuader. She's very arty. She's that sort of person, but she's made of glass. Not literally. That would be quite something, but she's not very good at combat. The other person plays Soraya. Now, Soraya was a scout for many years. She's used to being on her own, which means she's not always best around people. But it's made her very much a jack of all trades sort of person. She can do pretty much most things in a ship. She can drink a lot of alcohol, and she loves sport. And that are my two characters. Deary me, it's going horrifically wrong tonight. Luckily, the person next to me is going to save the day and bring equality to proceedings. It is he's so he's playing it down, but he knows. He is after all the housewife's favourite. He's my brother from another mother. It is, of course, the beautiful Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Hi, Luke. I'm very good,
Hi.
thanks. I'm excited. I'm excited for our adventure. You've said adventures a lot, but I feel we've let slip the fact that this is a sci-fi game, and we are in fact having adventures in space.
We are having adventures in space. Absolutely right.
With bringing that up recently, but I feel it needs a resurgence.
I think very, very good point. Um, all our adventures are, of course, in space when we play Traveller. And I've updated the Ewan, the standing for Ewan image, as you may see, for Christmas.
That is fantastic.
So the bunny has been replaced with a little reindeer. It took us. How many outfits did we have to get you before you fitted in this one for the photo?
Not. I think we learnt a lot of lessons from the bunny one. If I'm honest, not as many. Though arguably still too many.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah. Feet and inches, like the Spinal Tap. So many miniature reindeer costumes.
Last time I ordered in centimeters when it was inches. It was terrible. But that is Ewan. If you don't believe it, you don't see him below his chest, so you can't prove me wrong, any of you. So there we go. Who do you play in this story of ours, Ewan?
That's a very good question, Luke. I play Agnar Arnson, the humanoid wolf Varga character, ex-army general and general medic and high-flying socialite. He's not really, but he can carry himself in that sort of way if he needs to with the group. And I also play Stefan Miller, who is a bit more of a down-to-earth, sneaky space rogue kind of guy.
Oh, he is, and everyone loves Stefan Miller.
What more can I say?
He's got a certain vibe about him.
Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
We'll soon find out. What branch of the military was he in? Was it
Who?
Agnar?
Agnar was in the army.
Oh, so he wasn't Air Floof one.
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, that would have been good though.
It would have been good. Let's retcon his background just for the humour.
Be damned with the rules and all.
It's what we do anyway.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Ben furiously scribbling away with a frustrated look in his face.
Desperately rewriting an entire galaxy.
The 17th Rift Runners are now a. What did you say, Luke? Did you say Navy? Air Force.
Air Force now.
Yeah. And now an air unit.
Rift running is now slang for those for small manned craft that shoot down canyons.
Yeah, and destroy the Death Star.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the Rift Runners are now. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm glad we've got that sorted. The man sitting on the end, grinding his teeth, dressed rather sexily as always. He's the smartest man and the most frustrated man in any room. He lives his entire life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence. He's a man that has many strings to his bow. He works during the day, but at night.
And all because the lady loves milk tray.
He sneaks into the rooms of women and leaves chocolatey deposits on their side drawers, in their drawers. I don't know.
Anyone who hasn't seen the advert.
So confused right now. It's such a very English thing as well. And of course, as it's Christmas, he has combined that with his annual role as Santa. So now he's got his black roll neck jumper is now red and white, and he only sneaks into the rooms of the women that have been naughty, not nice, to leave his deposits. Those boxes of chocolates won't give themselves out. It is, of course, our wonderful Ben. Good evening, Ben. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm well. I'm filled with an abiding horror of what happens if people come in like a third of the way through one of those introductions.
I'm just full of horror for anyone that's there for any of the introduction, to be honest.
True. Yeah, there is that.
It gives people a vibe of what this stream is about, which is just self-glorification and nonsense, really.
Yes. Yeah. I think our nonsense quotient's reasonably high.
I think so. It's nice to get it up there.
One thing that sell our excess so that people can offset their nonsense if they need to.
Other channels can buy nonsense.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. For 10,000 bits per nonsense hour, I believe the going rate is. So we'll package it up for you.
Bad.
But anyway, enough of that. That's enough nonsense to sell. Ben, let's do something that isn't nonsense. Let's talk about a very, very, very serious thing. And I believe that's the game.
Okay. Well, let's do exactly that then. Welcome aboard the Seamstress, luxury liner and international sporting venue with hot tubs. The travellers have taken a job aboard, looking after a travelling group of cultists as they make their way home to Geeka. A nice, easy, safe job, escorting a group of people who seem fairly disliked in an enclosed environment surrounded by potential threats. And not just potential threats. Twice, the cult known as the Geeka Diaspora has come under attack, and both times the danger has been dealt with by our heroes. After the second attack, Soraya went on the offensive, looking for any lead into a possible third attack. Finding a suspect, she, Agnar, and Kara went looking for trouble in the form of a suspicious character and tracked her to her quarters. The woman didn't seem to want to let them in, partly because they acted very much like stalkers, but the travellers deployed an EMP device that put out the lights and opened the locked door. A very useful thing indeed. Starlight drops in the eyes allowed our intrepid three to see in the dark, something really very handy. The woman inside had donned a sophisticated outfit that could make her very hard to see for anyone relying on natural light, but it didn't help her much in the dark. She made a break for it, and Agnar and Soraya tried to stop her, but failed badly. As the woman fled out of the dark room, Kara stopped her with a firm punch from a stun fist. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. I'll try that again. As the woman fled, Kara hit... Wow, it really was Kara doing combat.
Yes, it was. She's really good with her fists. She's rubbish with it. She's got really good fists. That's it.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on.
Come on.
Back in the room, the travellers had found a case containing unknown cylinders. As they searched and decided what to do, the EMP wore off. The woman almost entirely disappeared, and in the confusion, she was able to activate one of the cylinders. The party dropped another EMP that took out the lights once more and prevented the door from locking, but quickly it became clear the device the woman had activated was very dangerous. It became hard to breathe, and the travellers had to run for it. In the chaos, the woman died, along with two of her neighbouring passengers, but the party all survived. Agnar, with appropriate respect for the recently departed, immediately stripped her of her chameleon suit. Now, was this woman planning the third attack on Diaspora? Before they really had time to answer that question, they got a call from Freya Kranev, the tame carvings expert, telling them they really must take a look at the forbidden island of Herrenhal on Geeka. Coincidentally, the place the Diaspora are very keen to make their home. And that is where we resume the story.
That is.
I feel it very important to point out at this point, Ben, that he did replace her outfit with other clothes, so she had some form of decency when when the seamstress security showed up.
That is definitely retconning. That is not in my notes whatsoever.
Oh, I re-listened to the episode today.
Did you?
I mean, if you want to argue it, that's fine. Not saying you're wrong.
Right. Can everyone just wait here while I go back and listen to the episode for 20 minutes?
So we find ourselves dealing with the consequences of the aftermath. You guys are still essentially at the quarters where the oxygen was so very nearly absent, with dead bodies on the floor, Agnar stuffing a chameleon suit into his pack, and you have to decide what to do next.
Now, something I know did happen is that someone did pick up the other cylinder.
Yes.
And I believe it was Kara. Well, Sarad picked it up and threw it to Kara.
Yeah, Kara has the other canister, yeah.
Yes.
She also has the tablet.
Yes, exactly. But of course, at this moment, Kara is still very much recovering her breath from a near-death experience and gasping a bit into leaning on the wall. She was leaning on Agnar, but of course he scarpered off to just strip a woman of her clothing. So
Exactly.
what are you going to do?
Well, near-death experience.
As he comes back, Kara will sort of look up. She's still leaning on the wall, and she'll look up at him. And she'll say, "Well, I'm glad you're all right, at least, Agnar. Did you forget something in there?"
He'll remove the helmet or the face part to his combat armor, which he remembered far too towards the end to put on, and say, "No, Sarai just asked me to get this," and he pulls out the suit and chucks it to Sarai.
So I'll look at it, sort of hold it up, I'll look at the shoulders. Nice. Did you get a controller as well? She had a controller on her wrist.
No, is it not part of the suit? Do you want to go back?
I don't know. She'll shake the suit. Is it part of the suit, Ben?
The suit appears to be self-contained. There's no obvious other device. No.
Check her wrists for me, Agnar. I'm too worn out with all the excitement.
He gives them a long, serious look up and down, and then puts his helmet back on just in case. He knows it's probably fine, and then goes back to the room to inspect the wrists for some form of device.
No, nothing there.
You'll check underneath the wrists as well. Lift them up.
Doesn't look like it.
And then head back to Kara and Sarah. No? Nothing on the wrists.
Sarai will sort of she'll slip an arm into one of the sleeves of the onesie, kind of experimentally, and then hold her arm up to see if it does anything.
I'll tell you what. Roll an investigation check for me.
I will roll investigation
with intellect.
Oh,
Ooh.
She's not very intellectual. Investigation. Hang on, that's
not what that noise implied, Luke.
Oh.
That's normally a good noise to hear your colleague, your fellow player make. I've got some skill there.
Her investigation is a -1, of course. Her jack of all trades mean that she's not terrible. Her intellect's a +1. She's somehow smarter than Agnar. Just not as educated.
But not floofier.
That is true. Traveller never did come up with a floofy option. We could get rid of one of the 6, I think. Strength. None of us are good at strength.
Yeah, that's true.
Strength check should be replaced with a floof check. It's not a good start to the night. It is a 7 +1 -1 is a 7.
Okay. You push your hand all the way through into the sort of glove that forms the end of the onesie, and it does feel as if there might be a control in the palm, but a quick wriggle of a hand makes it pretty clear that this is not cut to the right size for you to comfortably wear.
You know what, Agnar? I know I have a much sportier build than this woman, this accursed deceased woman. Harmon, I believe her name was. What we need to do is we need to get this back. We need to. I know Stefan would love something. Maybe we could, with Kara's know-how, your floofiness, my cheesy balls, and Stefan's love of the sneak. Maybe we could at least chop a bit out and make a nice hood for him so he could have an invisible head when needed.
That could be rather amusing. Invisible heads, invisible. I don't know. Pretty much all the appendages that would be funny when they're invisible, I guess.
Invisible hands, so he can just walk around pretending he's having horrific accidents. We can make money out of businesses.
If you can make the rest of him invisible apart from the hand, then there would just be a hand walking around.
That would be quite fun. There's limitless possibilities, even if we can't use it in its current state. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that indeed.
What Sarai does is she sort of, you know, when you get like when you've got a towel or something and you hold both ends and you whip it around whoop, 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 to make it a bit more like sausage shaped, I guess. She sort of does that with it and then just ties it around her waist to try and make it look like a very inconspicuous, boring kind of top, if that's possible. Like, and says, "Well, I suppose we'll be keeping this then, I guess." But Kara's got some stuff which we can offer up to security if needed.
Well, as you're finishing doing that and sort of still catching your breath, so to speak, the lift does indeed activate, and down come half a dozen of the security team from the Seamstress, led by Olivia Sharp, who walks into the corridor and looks around. There are people in various parts of this open area on this level who are, you know, looking stunned and shocked. A couple of them are crying or still sort of seemingly struggling to breathe, even though there doesn't seem to be a reason for it. Maybe they're suffering some lingering anxiety. And they spread out and start taking stock of the situation. And obviously Sharp immediately spots you guys and wanders over. So, good day so far?
Kara's going to nudge Agnar and whisper at him, "It's your girlfriend. She's here."
He'll nudge her back as hard as he can, which obviously isn't very hard because his elbows are covered in floof and he's not very strong. So I suppose it's more like a prod with a cushion,
like a bunny pouring at you.
But it will vent some frustration. Well, funnily enough, I'd say he'll turn to Sharp. Funnily enough, I'd say it's been not too bad a day. Nobody, there was no mass event out in public. There weren't hundreds of people running to try and find the nearest escape of air away from this whatever this device was. It could have been handled better, I suppose. But all in all, I'd say, given the situation and the location that we're in, not too bad.
Not too bad. Okay. She's still processing
two
this.
Being the number. Too bad. We only lost 2. I'll tell her that. We only lost 2. There's 2 dead.
It's at about this point that you actually hear her communicator, and she sort of touches it to her ear and says, "Okay, understood. How about we get you guys out of here and to my office?"
Oh, the office. It's so boring in there.
I'm going to say, yeah, sure. We got time to pick up something on the way. It's been a busy morning. A little bit. Thanks. You know the deal. By now.
Yeah.
I'm more than willing.
Okay.
Do you need all of us?
I think it would be wise to get some sense from all of you of how it went down. I'll see you in my office in 10.
Okay.
See you soon.
I can't guarantee how much sense you'll get from nod over towards Kara.
Kara nods back very, very seriously, very solemnly.
Okay. Sharp jumps back into the lift, still talking on the comms to her people. A couple of the security personnel are now marshalling everybody from that area and getting them into the lift and telling them to head to the medical center for evaluation and asking if they have any actual medical conditions that need to be taken into account or if they're currently suffering any symptoms.
We've been left to our own to make our own way there.
Yep.
It's good meters there. To the lift, I guess. I can push the button if the doors are closed, or just step inside. And wait for the lift to be moving, I guess.
It will only take a second or two. It's currently doing major duty taking people up and out, but the levels above have pretty much already evacuated for the same reason. And as you pass up in the lift shaft, as you pass through the floor above it, you realize that there are security people there as well, checking in with people and finding out what happened. But when you make it up to the concourse, the area outside the lift has clearly been cleared away. Again, there are half a dozen security people, not aggressively, but telling people to keep back.
Oh, do you think she's angry, Agnar? You can read her better than any of us.
You know, normally I get a sense of frustration from
and
her
slight
that she's having to deal with
disappointment.
us and our antics. Yeah, but I didn't get any of that, and that worries me somewhat.
It did seem very just.
You know, I normally feel like we're in trouble, but this time I don't feel like we're in trouble, and I feel as though that could be more trouble. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. What more could we have done? Realistically,
yeah.
I suppose we were given the all clear, weren't we? We were given the all clear to go in. I'm sure she said something like that. At first, she might have said, "Yeah, knock on the door. Security can't go around harassing people, and neither can we." And we investigated, and things
escalated quickly. Yeah.
Oh, I don't take complex notes about things that happened in the past, Agnar. We can't tell what she told us. Come on, we'll just tell her we did what we were supposed to do. We've got gifts for her. She holds up in one hand the canister of gas, or whatever, and then in the other hand the tablet. She's like, look, come on. People love people bearing gifts. Okay. I think it'll smooth over the cracks. Come on, let's go. Let's go. The sooner we get this out of the way, the sooner Sarai can get back to Buckyball. Look, she's gnawing at her fingernails again.
Come on then.
Okay. Do you in fact have somewhere to stop on the way to the office?
I suppose if there's bound to be somewhere on the way, right, Ben, that sells a bit of food. It's a bit of food, maybe some coffees.
Yeah, no difficulty with that. It's not a very long walk to the front of the ship and the bridge area where the security office is, but it's perfectly lined with places that sell food and drink. It is, after all, a liner.
It's true. I can turn to Kara and Soraya and say, "Hey, do you guys want anything?"
Yeah, none of that fish milk coffee or anything. I can't be dealing with that.
Oh, but Sharp really liked it last time.
You get one for her. Soraya. So I'll have a coffee, but I'll have an orange juice and a vodka put in mine.
In your coffee?
Yeah, why not?
Agnar will go up and order, and he'll order a one of the the strawberry fish milk lattes from last time for Sharp. And he'll order he'll just order a mimosa. He's not ordering an orange juice coffee mixture. It sounds horrific. Worse than the fish milk.
I just wanted to seem classy, Agnar, with my coffee, and now you just left me looking like an alcoholic, walking into a meeting with a mimosa.
Put in a coffee mug.
Oh, okay, that's all right then. No, I just look like a child that wants to look like an adult that's been given orange juice in a mug.
Yeah,
it's a strong look. That'll do.
To be fair, we often drink wine out of mugs.
That is true.
That is very true. Mostly Baltic style mugs.
Yes. Available on our store as Christmas is coming. Oh, very strong. Well done. Yeah.
Indeed. If you know somebody who doesn't want a milk tray from Ben, get them a Baltic style mug instead.
We'll try out the exclamation marks.
Have you got the link?
No, I don't know. Keep going. Keep going. I'll work it out.
Once Agnar's got the coffees. Don't know what I'm doing. We'll make our way. We'll continue on to the front of shit.
Sarah sipping on her mimosa in a mug, trying to look very thoughtful, stroking her chin, like coffee drinkers do.
Okay. So your coffee mimosa horror show is indeed delivered, along with the strawberry fish milk latte drink, which is equally horrific. And at least it doesn't actually taste of fish, so there's that.
Oh, that's the best bit.
Is there anything else you need to collect before heading off to shop?
I feel like at some point we need to talk to Krenev, but that'll be after this meeting. And we probably need to pop in on what's her name at some point tomorrow in the medical thing, but I can't think of anything else pressing, Ewan. Can you?
Agnar will turn to Soraya and say, do you want to drop that off? You got time to run that back to Stefan or someone nearby? Or you could just... I don't think we need to, but...
Soraya thinks, and then she goes, yeah, you can cover for me, can't you? If I'm a bit late, you go ahead.
Don't be late.
And she scurries off back to the apartment area, fully planning to be so late it's not worth going back again. Sort of cackling to herself as she runs off in the other direction. As soon as she's out of sight, she slows down to a very slow walk. Just leaving Agnar and Kara.
Agnar turned to Kara. Why do I get a bad feeling about this?
Oh, don't worry about her. You know what she's like. She's always got our backs when we need it.
These are the situations that I expect management to step up in and lead.
Well, sometimes I think good management is about letting your underlings spread their wings and fly by themselves, like a bird, like a mother bird. I feel like Sarah's like a mother bird, kicking us out of the nest to fly for ourselves today. She's taught us everything she knows. That's why it's only been like 3 days.
I mean, she hasn't taught us how to fly, though. But... Okay. Come on, let's go. There's enough talking. We've already got a cover for her being late. I don't want to cover for us being late as well.
Okay. Let's go.
We'll head off.
Okay. So you make your way to the the front section of the ship. The officers go down through the hot tub area. Can the three of you please all roll a streetwise check for me with intellect as you go?
Ooh.
Is that as Sarai runs off in the other direction as well?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Whereas
Mine was the fabled Agnar 1-1
oh no!
with a -3.
Oh, fantastic! A -1.
Strikes again.
Whereas
Always
luckily,
Agnar.
I've more than covered for you. Sarai hit a 10 plus 1, and Kara hit a 9 plus 0.
Okay. Soraya is the only one to notice anything.
Oh.
As you're hurrying away, you just catch a glimpse of someone in the crowd. It's sort of like a familiar face, you know? And you look that way thinking, I know that. And almost by the time you've registered it, the face is gone. And you're trying to remember where you might have seen that person before. And wondering if it's important or if there's anything you need to worry about. And you glance back again, see if you can see where they're going or what they're doing. But in the crowd, you've lost sight of them in that meantime.
Is it a male or female face?
It is a female face.
Wow.
And after a moment, you think, can't do anything about it now, and move off. And then it's just a few moments later, as you're, sort of making your way along, that you suddenly realize that it's one of the Geeker diaspora.
It's one of the Geeker diaspora. What are they doing out? Oh, that's not good. That's not good. It's a Grey Hill. Oh, a bad time to Grey Hill at this moment of concern. Thank you, Gamers Ledge. How you doing? Thank you for joining for the look. We always appreciate you. We appreciate you.
Indeed.
Evening, Games Ledge.
How do you feel about William Regal's injury? Is it real or is it worked? I don't know. Anyway, to Grey Hill. That redoubles her scurry back because whereas she was going to lurk, she suddenly realised she needs to get back and speak to whoever's on duty. Are we back at the Stefan duty? Are we back at Stefan and Johnny?
I think Stefan is actually still resting, isn't he?
Oh, he's
this
resting.
hasn't taken very long.
So it's not his fault, is it?
This is the real living out your dreams through TCRPG. Sleep.
Oh, can we just roleplay a sleep session? I'd quite like to do a 3-hour sleep session. She actually rushes back at that point to talk to whoever's on. Curses! You've ruined her nice leisurely walk. I was looking forward to a very chill hour or so. Anyway, we can worry about that in a bit if you want, Ben. Should we?
Okay.
Let's worry about that now. I've got more to think about for that.
So we're going straight to Sharp's office then?
If that's okay with both of you.
Absolutely is.
Yeah, that's Agnar's plan.
So Agnar and Kara are arriving at Sharp's office first.
Yes, I mean you say first, but or do you just mean before Sharp? Sorry.
Oh no, before Soraya. I mean, I know you're all heading there. The question is whether or not Soraya takes a bit of extra time, but
yeah, cool. Yeah, they'll head there first. They'll go straight there, won't they? Then?
Okay.
Unless Kara's
and Soraya can join them in a matter of moments.
She was heading in the other direction. If that was okay, she was heading back to Stefan.
Okay. Yeah, well then in that case we can deal with her after we've done the office meeting with Kara and Agnar. When you get there, the corridor is open. It's not full of people, you understand, but clearly the security team is dealing with some inquiries, some questions, some concerns. You can hear them chatting with people and telling everyone that it was a minor incident and it's all been dealt with, and nothing to worry about. You do notice someone standing right at the sort of near end of the corridor near the lifts, standing there and just peering down the corridor towards Sharp's office. This person appears to be, based on a prominently displayed ID, the a member of a press organization.
Oh, the accursed press.
Are they just in the corridor, or are we going to walk past them?
Yeah, you would walk literally inches away from them as you go past.
Agnar will turn to Kara and just say, I can't believe they're even calling it a minor incident, if I'm honest. It was so trivial as we walked past them.
Kara will sort of say to Agnar, get Sharp warmed up. I'll join you in a second. And peels off to confront the press, if that's okay.
All right. Yes, feel free.
Okay.
She's not paying that much attention to you initially. She's just watching the door to Sharp's office, which you understand is the other end of the corridor. She's some way away from it. So it takes a second before she realizes, sort of looks up. It's like, hello.
Is her ID badge with name easily visible?
Yeah.
What is her name, please?
Her name is Verima Sefran.
How is spelling?
Verima.
Yep.
Sefran.
Sefran.
Yep. Ran.
Ram. She says, Verena, right? Verena Sefran?
Yes.
But I've read some of your I didn't know you were on this ship. Man. Are you covering the matches?
Not really that so much as just traveling from A to B and looking for a story when one pops up.
Have you got anything in particular in Geeky you're looking for? Because you look like a top writer. I love your work. Like, legitimately, the way you flow is brilliant. Have you got anything in like on the go when you get there?
Yeah,
sorry for gushing over you. I'm such a big fan. I'm sorry.
I've got a story I'm looking to.
Oh, man, I'm sure you can't give too much away, of course, but it must be pretty good for you to be on the case, right?
News is a competitive business.
It is. You see, I'm into don't look down on me. I'm an artist, and I used to be involved in quite a lot of media and news back in my day. I go more for vlogging these days because I'm not attached to a news organisation or anything like that at the moment. But I'm always in awe of good work, and I totally understand, of course, that the competition of it all. And it's always, you're only as good as your last. She's purposefully like babbling, and I feel like doing it. And of course, you're only as good as your last article, aren't you? Of course. The last one I read of yours was excellent. So you're right at the top right now, right? Right?
Well, it's kind of you to say.
No. It's not kind when it's honest. Look, have I ever? She's kind of trying to buy time, partly to get Agnar into the office, if that makes sense. If she can try to pull her away. Says, look, if you've got a moment, listen. Can I ask you for some advice, just briefly, just for a minute? Is that okay? Like while you're waiting here for whatever you're waiting for, Got a bit of advice from I'm not taking your story or anything, just a little bit of advice.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
You tell me what this incident they're all fussed about is, and I'll answer your question.
Right. Have you got a pencil? You got a pencil?
Pencil.
Oh, come on! Don't destroy my image of you as the hard-nosed press. When I was in the press, we used pencils just for the smell of them.
She pulls out her tablet and then says, "It's a special journalistic one. It leaves fake ink stains on the fingers."
Oh, that's good. Oh, you've got one of those. They're well expensive. I'll tell you what. It'll only take me a minute, but I've got a really interesting story to tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. You can even set up a timer if you want. It'll only take me a minute.
Is that how long it will take? Right, 1 second. She is indeed in the process of setting up her recording device with a timer.
One take only.
One take only. Sorry.
Oh, what a headline this will make. Well done, Crit.
Oh.
Copy and paste is brilliant every time.
This is an absolutely fantastic one. Okay, here we go.
So did you you know back on terror, right? You must have done some research into terror back in the day, right? We all do a bit in schools and this and that. You know, the old birthland and all that sort of stuff. You know, when they used to talk about that country, America, the US, right? There was this state, yeah, and my surname, right, is Laska, right? Laska. Write that down. Laska. You can look me up from the past. I once got misunderstood in one of an article. People thought that I was the state that started with AL. They got really confused about it, and it was just it got really confused. And you know, like Sellville, you know, like Sellville and Geeker. You must know Sellville. They thought that it's very confusing. It's about selling like villas, like selling some stuff, and it was all very confusing. She's babbling again. All very confusing. And what happened was, because of that, loads of people sold property on Earth at the time. Honestly, it's weird. And what that happened was, because of all that sale of property, a lot of money flowed through the galactic middle class, which meant the galactic working class got really badly affected. All the properties got sold off, all the landlords sold their properties, and suddenly there's a real shortage of property, and there's a lot of squatting at the time. You're not writing this down? Are you not following?
Your time is definitely up.
Are you not? This is quite a big piece of information. Has Agnar gone into the office?
Yes.
Okay.
And can you roll a deception check for me, please, with intellect?
I can, please. Should be okay, hopefully, because that is a 9 plus 2 is 11.
Okay. Yes, the your conversation does seem to have distracted the journalist from spotting where Agnar went, or even that he existed, possibly. It certainly doesn't appear that she paid any attention.
Hey, do you you look thirsty? Do you want a coffee or something while you're here? You're obviously here on important business.
I think I'd better stay here. I'm waiting for Sharp to come out. So, what was this incident that happened?
What? People selling property? You don't need to know that
the
again.
one on the the one on the deck up there.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just here because I slapped some bitch for looking at my man wrong. And Cara just wanders off towards the sort of the waiting room area.
Hmm. Okay. She shrugs, puts her tablet away, and goes back to her waiting. While this is going on, Agnar arrives in Sharp's office. Sharp is sitting there, cheerfully working on her terminal, and she looks up. Come in, have a seat.
Thank you. I hope you don't mind. I took the liberty of bringing you another coffee. You seem to like the last one so much.
She takes a good long look at it and says, "Thank you. It's very kind. Now, what happened? Why do I have 3 dead people?"
So we, as we discussed, we investigated the room and went to question the suspicious person that Sarai had come across, and there was no answer. So and he'll pause for a minute and then look her in the eye. I'm going to be brutally honest. We were quite concerned. We took the liberty of gaining entry to the room, and inside the room we found, I don't know. I do know how to say this. It sounds crazy when you say it out loud. I know that these things are available. We found somebody invisible.
Invisible
to the naked eye, which
that's kind of invisible.
Yes, indeed. Well, depending on your perspective, I suppose, but which heightened our suspicions even more. We managed to corner the person, and Kara set off an EMP, which may be the reason why you had problems shutting down or sealing off the unit. But that did in turn make said person visible. We subdued them. They came back around. The EMP wore off. They became visible again. They made their way to a briefcase and set off a canister device, which got very cold and let off, I can only assume, a gas that made it difficult for us all to breathe at the time. Kara set off another EMP. Are you still with me?
Yes, so far.
Yes. Second EMP. Shortly after the person had then become invisible again, and then they became visible again. Again, was subdued. We tried to drag her out of the room and seal up the door manually, but to no avail. And he sort of flexes his muscles, which aren't even there at that point. I mean, you've frankly, you've seen the 3 of us, and the doors are designed to open, I believe, in such a failure.
Yeah, in an electrical shutdown, the doors fail open. Yeah.
Yeah. At which point, Soraya tried to drag the woman from the room, again to no avail. And we decided that a tactical withdrawal to the furthest point away from the canister and the then subdued woman would be the best course of action. So we rounded up as many of the guests as we could to the point where you found us. which appeared to be somewhat easier to brew. And then the second EMP wore off, and I believe that's when we had our conversation with you.
Okay. So the unknown canister is what actually killed the people.
Yes, and the perpetrator.
Right. Okay, so I suppose that's good. And do we know what the canister is, what it contains?
No, we don't, or I certainly didn't in the heat of the moment. We didn't analyze the thing. It should still be down there.
Yeah, we've secured the area. I'm sure they'll find the remnant stuff. Well, first of all, glad to see you're alive. We're going to put all of that information into a sort of official report. I'd appreciate it if the three of you will sign it when you see it. But now I have to ask, obviously, what information you were able to gather from Harmon in the room. Was there any information you got? Do you have any clues as to what she was planning or why?
You see that this is a bit of a you know my background, and for a military man such as myself, it was a bit of a tricky situation. We managed to subdue her. She came round. I believe there was a brief exchange whilst she was still somewhat dozy, shall we say. At which point the EMP wore off and she became invisible again, and was clearly set on her. I don't think this was her goal, but she was clearly set on fulfilling something. I guess this was a best option given the situation she found herself in.
Yeah. And chances are she was planning to set it off and cause some chaos and flee when she was invisible. But that didn't work out for a number of reasons.
Presumably around the diaspora, as the others have been.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly possible.
At this point, and it's up to Sharp if she does anything about it. Her device will be ringing because Kara will be calling.
Okay. Yeah, Sharp will pick that up immediately. Hey, Kara.
Hey, Agnar told you much?
He's pretty much laid out the story. I'd appreciate you guys filling in any details that he doesn't know or any observations you have.
Well, I've got some stuff here, which I don't know if Agnar's talked about it or not. We've got some stuff from the apartment, like her room, but there's I managed to get Agnar in without, because there's press out here. I managed to take her attention so she wasn't looking when he got in to talk to you. And I told her lie to get into the waiting room, but she's hanging around. And really, it's probably best that you're him or me doesn't sort of go between the rooms while she's around, unless you want to talk to the press.
I'll take care of it. And she hangs up, and about 30 seconds later, one of the security personnel comes out down the corridor and walks over to the journalist. And because you're standing right there, you hear him say to her, if you'd like to get some footage at the scene, we can't show you everything yet, but there's the opportunity to do the exterior and part of the lift area and the area in the corridors outside if you need that kind of vid information for your piece. And she sort of glances across at Sharp's door, which is still, shut. and then looks back and goes, "Yeah, okay, let's do that now." And the two of them set off and up in the lift.
Very nice.
Smooth. Oh, the power. Kara peeks around the corner at the kerfuffle, sees it happen, and then enters into the office with Agnar and Sharp.
Okay. Welcome, Kara. Thank you for the tip on the press.
That's okay. That's okay. She's good. She's good press, but there's a time and a place, isn't there?
There is. There definitely is. You said you had stuff, crime scene stuff.
I have. Agnar, what have you said about?
Nothing about the stuff.
You weren't keeping it a secret, were you, Agnar? We weren't going to try and sell this. She plumps the big cylinder on the table. We weren't trying to sell this to someone, were we? Was that one of your plans?
Agnar will turn to Sharp and he'll say, did anything I said to you imply that I was keeping any secrets whatsoever?
No, though it does turn out you did decide to hold one thing back.
Oh, trouble in paradise.
You omitted to mention that there was a second unused lethal device that for some reason you decided to just stick in your pocket and wander through the busy concourse of my ship with.
Well, it's not my pocket, in all fairness. I can't be responsible for the pockets of such a delinquent. And he'll glare back at Kara.
Yeah, but look, I'm wearing my best sort of camo trousers. Look at these pockets. These are pretty good pockets. They're deep. Nothing's falling out of these pockets.
The quality of the pockets wasn't really the thrust of the comment.
I assumed that at some point you would catch up with all of us anyway. I mean, you know how people get in their old age. My memory isn't quite what it used to be, and I will say that the questioning, there may have been things that I haven't remembered. We might have got more information out of the person, but nothing that springs to mind. And indeed the items as well. And he'll specifically say items.
Okay. She says to Kara, if you wouldn't mind just putting it on my desk. And what's these other items?
Kara says, I'm glad you could ask. And she reaches into her other large pocket and pulls out the tablet. It says, this was found. Soraya found this in her bag, in fact. And she sort of tries to very coolly sort of like flick it so it spins across the table. It's kind of casually, but kind of coolly to Sharp. That's the attempt anyway.
Make it roll.
No, that's easy. Anyone can do that.
Okay. Sharp takes a look at it and fires it up immediately. Thank you. This could be helpful.
That's all right. If you need any help with getting into it, I'm pretty adept at this sort of thing.
I'll get the tech team to look at this. You didn't get any sense of why these horrific devices were brought on board?
Kara looks at Agnar. I can't remember how much of the theory of how much the Earth, Wind and Fire and that was a theory between us, or if she knows anything about it. Do you remember, Ewan?
I don't think we've mentioned to her much about the question. Oh no, we did. We did say that there were going to be 3 attacks, didn't we? That's the whole point.
That's why we were allowed to look at so-and-so, yes.
Yeah, that's the whole reason we got into the room, was the information that we got from the other person.
Yes, it was.
Are we going to... She'll look at Agnar. Should we lay everything on the table, Agnar?
We're all friends here.
Pull your trousers back up, Agnar. Not that sort of friend. No. So you're good. I'm glad. I was bursting. To share the information. What was our theory? Our theory was there with trials, right?
Yes, I believe it was said that
This is my first trial, though. You've seen them all. You're the connecting link, Agnar. Are you a suspect?
there was something about being worthy, wasn't there? And should they survive, then their pilgrimage will be
like emboldened,
looked upon favourably by whoever these people deem to look upon such tasks.
So apparently they've got these trials that are tied up to. What was the first? It would have been water, wouldn't it, Agnar? At the hot tubs.
Water at the hot tubs.
Fire with the grenades.
Fire with the incendiary grenades.
And air with the assist. That could have been horrific.
Air with the aerosol.
Thrown down to their lower ground. They'd have all died, I think. If that's what they wanted. But the point you made was interesting about. It's almost like there's other people connected to the cult that are there to make them earn it or something almost.
I got the feeling from the other person who we extensively questioned that there was someone it felt like there was someone pulling the strings. Do you know what I mean? And he'll look over at Sharp.
Like a puppet master.
They said they'd received their mission. Was it years ago, Ben?
Yes.
Some years ago, and that they knew the time of the pilgrimage, and that they'd had their mission laid out for them.
Can you roll a persuade check with intellect for me, please?
Yes, I can. Persuade is the one he's working on, so unfortunately it's a minus.
We just need a week off.
Only 1 week away from persuade.
1 week sat in his room by himself.
That is a 10 on the dice, though. -3, no intellect. Can I add social?
Oh.
Yes, under this circumstance you can.
So that'll be a 10 -1 for a 9 overall.
Okay.
Thanks, Ben.
Sharp thinks about what you said for a second, and then she says, we're not getting much from our prisoner. We may in time, but at the moment he's just being very stubbornly resistant to sensible questions. He's not really being helpful. We basically got 3 obvious possibilities based on what you said about the trials and this person's mission. Either there's another group opposed to the diaspora who have their own traditions and mission and training, and that's what this person's a part of. Or this person is part of a renegade faction, a breakaway group determined to stop the return to Geeka. But as you say, there's a third possibility. However, I do have an idea for a trick. Let's you can come into the room if you like, but your acting skills will have to be up to it. If not, you can watch on the vid.
Oh. That's gonna be deception, isn't it? Acting.
That'll be deception, but
persuasion.
If you've got actual acting talents, you can use those instead.
I've got performers art, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kara sort of pulls her shoulders back and says, Agnar, did I ever tell you about the time that I did bottom at college?
We used to call that moving.
More than once.
More than... Ah, they were good times. How confident? I feel very confident. How do you feel about playing a part in this this grand charade?
I tell you what, I'll watch. I'll leave it up to you two. All I will say, Sharp, is that when I was questioning him, he was quite adamant that he wanted to end his own life. He wanted to die. He didn't want to carry on. That may be different now. He's been caught, but I think that was the he had failed, and so the price was going to be his life, and that was something we were able to use to leverage him before, somewhat.
Well, the good news is
This
time he may give me something useful without even having to say a word. So let's see if we can do it. The pair of us.
What a team.
She ushers both of you out into the corridor and down off a side corridor, which leads into the interrogation area. And after a couple more doors and turns into a suite, there's a room, and on one wall a vid screen is showing picture from the room next door, basically, where your previous torture victim is sitting at a table, looking slightly the worse for wear because, torture victim, but basically intact, with a glass of water in front of him and head slightly down. He's not looking particularly chipper, but he's also just there, clearly okay. And Sharp hands you the canister.
Ooh.
And says, I'm going to go in alone. Give me about 30 seconds and then come in, because you're bringing that to me, okay?
Yeah.
And Sharp goes in, and you see her on the vid. She walks in and sits down, and she opens up her tablet and starts going through it. She says, we've had another incident, and then looks down at the tablet again. And it's possible you might be able to provide some useful information. And she glances down at the tablet again. I'm sorry, it'll be a second. And she just goes back to her tablet. And the guy's sort of slightly looking over the top of the tablet to see if he can catch what she's doing. And she's paying him no attention whatsoever at this point. And she's just going to keep doing that until you enter the room.
Kara approaches the door. Is it an automatic door, or do I need to open it?
Yes. Yep. It slides open as soon as you approach.
As it slides open, Kara will knock on the frame of the door, and she'll say, "Officer Sharp, may I enter?"
Oh yeah, come in. Have you got it?
And of course, this guy hasn't seen Kara. Kara was never part of that thing.
That's right.
Hey, Monkey Tails, you've joined us just as we're going to do some shenanigans with someone that, basically, Ewan tortured this guy a couple of episodes ago.
Ewan didn't
quite
do anything.
horrifically. Yeah, you say that. We all know that PCs are just a proxy for our true desires.
Well, they are now, Luke.
Hey, Poops Pirate, how are you guys doing? I caught some of their Cthulhu. I got a good 45 minutes on the boat. They were. It was very chill. I'd have happily played what they were doing. They were just skeet shooting off the back and betting, and Andy Poops was drinking shots at the bar. It was everything I could have wanted.
It was faintly reminiscent of the SS Can, I thought.
Yeah, I know.
It was Cthulhu.
I was so happy on that boat. I didn't want to leave, but I had to. Did anyone die or go mad after I left, by the way, you guys? It was very good. Can we do a shout out? Is there an exclamation mark for shout outs before we continue?
Yeah, there is, I think.
Oh, is it SO? SO.
You got it.
Yeah.
If anyone is here that's never seen these guys before, go there. They're good. They're good. They're like
They really are.
we're big fans of them. They're very
Yes,
chill.
a lot of fun.
If you like our stuff or kind of are okay with our stuff, their stuff's better. So go check them out. They normally run like a couple of hours before us on a Friday, Saturday. So do it.
And a bit like us, they do a range of different games and things to keep it varied and interesting. So
as well.
so it's very much our kind of style, but our kind of thing. So we always enjoy catching them when we can.
But less torture.
Yeah.
Croy, are you going to lurk while you VR tonight, Croy? Are you driving across Europe? Are you settling planets in space? Very exciting. And Croy does really good VR streams as well. There's a load of
Yes,
good quality
that's weird. I mean, I'm sure it's brilliant, but it's very odd.
In the best possible way.
In the best possible way.
He does dad dances for you as well. Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, nice. Very cool.
That was quite quick, though.
It's too late for Roman numerals. Roman numerals are a pre 10 p.m. kind of thing. They're like pre-watershed Roman numerals.
Oh, right. I thought you meant like too late for Roman numerals in the fact that it was, past the year 200.
Oh, I see what you mean. MMXXII. Easy, okay, sorry. Yes, so Kara has gone to the door with Sharp, with the person. She knocks on the door. And what does Sharp say, sorry?
Yeah, come in. Have you got it?
Kara quite grandly reveals the cylinder from behind her back and walks forward almost too nonchalantly, I guess, to Sharp. Says, I've got it here. And she plunks it down quite heavy. Knowing how it works, she's seen how it works. Plunking it down quite heavily but safely, I guess, in front of Sharp.
Excellent. Can you roll a deception check for me, please?
I can try.
Or you can use performance.
I will use my performance, please.
And add int, please.
It makes no difference, but can I go for education? Is it something she's learnt over the years?
Yeah, as it's a learnt skill, you absolutely can.
Yeah, it's purely for role playing. It's exactly the same. Okay, it's a 7, but it's +3, which makes a 10.
Excellent. Okay, you plonk it down. Sharp hasn't been watching you come. She's watching your suspect. And when the cylinder's plonked down effectively on the desk, she still keeps watching the suspect, but picks up the cylinder and sort of almost offers it to him, like sort of shows it to him up close and turns it over in her hand. Says, ever seen one of these before? And the guy looks immediately, it's obvious if you look at his face that he does indeed know what one of those is. And he then sort of catches himself. He's been caught completely off guard by this. And he shakes his head and says, no, what is it? And Sharp just smiles at him very broadly and says, it's a very good question. I guess we'll have to find out together. And
nice to work together.
She stands up with it and turns around and walks out, nodding to Kara to come with her.
Kara happily wanders out after her.
Reassembling in the sort of anteroom with the vid, she says, thank you, that worked well. He obviously does know what it is. That means he was in contact with this potential terrorist woman. They were obviously working together. This isn't something I'm familiar with, so it's rare tech, and he knew it immediately. So there's no question. They're part of the same group, the same mission, the same plan. And The problem is this guy doesn't seem to have many levers I can pull to make him talk. But anytime we can come up with something like that, which gives us a little bit of information, you know, without him having to talk, that's a good trick. Thank you.
No, use this new lever wisely, I guess. Do we feel that we're in the same room as Agnar again now? We're in the same space because he was
Yeah.
watching us. So do we feel that there is only going to be the three, or do we think there's going to be more? There are more elements in the universe after all.
Well, unless I can get him to give me a detailed analysis of the plan, I don't think that's something I'm going to be able to answer.
And I feel we got lucky with this one because of Soraya's drunken chats down a bar somewhere. The poor girl's going to get liver damage if we keep leaning on her for those sort of leads.
If it's supposed to be 3, and there's a rule that it has to be 3,
The rule of 3.
then you've got to ask, what happens if the person who's supposed to deliver the third one can't?
Oh, are you thinking there might be a backup?
Well, it's possible.
Agnar would say, what worries me more is this person obviously said that there were 3. It doesn't, because they knew some of the plan, it doesn't necessarily mean that they knew all of the plan.
Very good point.
I guess you only
How many
need to know
elements are there nowadays, Ben?
before you and
Natural
after you.
elements?
Actual natural elements of the order of, 96, 97, something like that, naturally occurring, and then a couple of hundred beyond that are capable of being produced in various reactors and the like.
No, sorry, my apologies. As in...
I don't want to do the task of uranium. I don't really want to stop that.
It is usually, depending on the tradition and the culture, you'd normally have 4, 5, or 6, depending on how you name them.
Okay. And I'm going to say, obviously, 3 is very close to certainly 4 or 5, lesser to 6. But
you get 3 in an old funk band as it is, and there's more on top of that.
It just worries me slightly that he wouldn't. I mean, he doesn't need to know any of the information other than that there is one before him, being number 2, and number 1 goes first, and you are number 2.
Yeah, and number 3 is
so
coming
maybe he
after
doesn't.
that.
Maybe he doesn't know all the information.
Maybe not, but he obviously knew about this one.
That's true. That's true.
So I suppose
Anyway.
he might know about all of them. I don't even know if the order is significant.
Water, fire, air.
Water, fire, air. What is it? There's Earth. They're not going to try and crash the ship into Geek, are they? That's nothing to, or something to do when they get to the island. That feels like a challenge, actually getting to the island.
Earth does traditionally come at the end of pilgrimages, especially ones that involve traveling through space.
And there's sackcloth and ashes as well, sprinkling. It's possible. Or blowing something up and burying them underneath rubble. It's possible. Why worry? I'm overthinking things, Agnar.
There's so many options. I think we're grasping at straws and possibly digressing.
Wait, a straw's Earth? Could they do something with straws?
Yours.
Oh no, you're worrying me now. I guess we have no more lead than you, do we, Sharp? We have no more lead really at this point.
No, we'll get all the information we can off the tablet. We'll work out what the hell this canister is, and we'll obviously go through that cabin with a fine-tooth comb.
It looked almost as empty as the other guys, didn't it? At the end of the day.
Yeah, I was going to say it seemed quite sparse in there.
You never know. I mean, they may have been keeping all of their stuff somewhere else, and we may have information on where that is in the tablet. We'll find out. We'll find out what we can. I'm eager to have the matter closed before we arrive at Geeka, because obviously there's a potential danger associated with bringing an uncontrolled situation to a planet. But I don't know how big this is. I don't know how many people are in danger.
Agnar, we've been called an uncontrollable situation.
Yeah, but he used his conditioner now. It's much better.
He goes to say something and then stops as Sharp joins in with the the torture of poor Agnar.
All right, so you're not some sort of Faustian poem or something. Anyway, yeah, we need to get this done because you two need to go to watch the Pelago race. We need it done before the Pelago race if we're going to really enjoy our time on Geeka. I agree. But for now, all we can do is go back, make sure the cultists are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and just keep an eye out for anything suspicious, I suppose, and let you know when we know anything.
Mm-hmm.
But please, if you learn anything that we can use at our end, please don't keep us in the dark.
No, apparently that's your trick.
We asked you everything for this time, and we brought you all the information. I think we're working wonderfully. We've become symbiotic.
I think we felt that at that point, any extra information we may have given you may have endangered your. What's the term, Kara? When you don't know something and you can say, "No, I didn't know that."
Oh yeah, plausible deniability.
That's the one.
Yeah,
we didn't want to burden you with the knowledge of what we were about to do.
You do keep telling us, to be fair, to do things that you don't know about, so that it's not your fault, but we can get arrested for it. I feel like we're definitely getting the raw end of the deal here, Sharp. It would be nice to get a little bit of blowback from time to time when needed.
Speaking of which, Sharp, I don't suppose you know of anywhere on the ship that I could pick up some more med kits. You sell those on the ship anywhere?
Yes.
Something more than your standard, first aid travel kit. I could have used some, if I'm honest, back there to help those people.
I mean, I don't know of a shop that actually sells medical supplies, but I'm pretty sure they might be able to assemble you something in the clinic.
Would they do that? Is that?
I mean, if I put in a good word and it wasn't anything too elaborate you were after, maybe.
Oh, Sharp, that would really help us out, I feel, going forwards. And if we find ourselves in a similar situation, then perhaps we can avoid any unnecessary casualties in the future.
Oh, some lives
can you roll
saved.
a persuade, please, with social?
Damn it!
Yeah, but your social's good though. Your
My
social almost
is good,
covers it.
It's a 10 minus 1, isn't that?
Okay. Sharp smiles and says, I'll give them a call. Turn up and find anyone there and let them know that I've okayed it.
That's very kind, thank you. And we'll certainly keep the lines of information flowing as we go forwards and tighten up our security. I think maybe we'll look at Kara.
Don't look at me. I've done at least 3 hours of hard security work since you've been here. Oh yeah, it probably is my turn. Oh, I hate security. It's not very fun.
Yeah, it's even worse if it's your life.
Oh, it's even worse when half of your buddies are in hospital and things, and you can't secure with them anymore.
Yeah, quite right.
That is true. But on the plus side, rather than sitting in your room on your laptop, you can sit in someone else's room on your laptop.
Oh, that is true. A change of mood. I like it. I'm up for it now. I'm over emboldened. Let's do it.
Over emboldened.
Oh, Fiddy's here, but just before the
Hey,
laptop runs out of power after the dog ate the lead. Are you gonna be okay tomorrow? You got enough battery to run a stream? Dear me.
Stood up from the alley. They were a bit mean.
That's woken everyone up that was just lurking. Good. I'm glad it's charging it at least. There you go. I told you it was updated, Fids. I've updated it for everyone. Festive Ewan.
Oh, that's the reason you did it.
It's the only reason she turned up. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the dedication to standing for Ewan.
We all do.
I like to think that Agnar's his sort of way of trying to persuade people is basically just pointing at the medals on his chest, just using his social standing. Well, how was it? And sort of doing like some sort of Hugh Grant, and then just pointing at these war hero. And then the person just rolling their eyes and going, "Yeah, okay, fair enough."
Depending on the situation, it's either that or the Destroyer of Worlds sash that he points at. But he's not currently wearing it.
He's not got that.
It's not the right time.
There's something about Agnar that makes me think that sort of every T-shirt in his wardrobe has a little print of his medal ribbons on it in the right place.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, given most of the time it's covered by combat armor anyway, I could definitely see him doing that.
Yes. Yeah. It's a very, very good idea. So, thanks, Socks.
Oh, cursed Yana. Where's Muffin?
We've got double Yanas. Sorry, I need to get the double Yanas in there. And to Grey Hill while you're here as well. We're taking a Socks break. Well, it's absolutely because Socks had a really stressful week, and it's an absolute pleasure. Yeah. She's streaming with us tomorrow night. Orbital Blues him, and it's an absolute a surprise and a joy that she's popped in for a little bit. So thank you, and we're really looking forward to tomorrow with you. To be honest,
indeed, and I have so much respect and joy that Socks has shown up that I'm not even going to team Muffin.
It's not going to last.
Which you should do out of basic human decency anyway. But
you take care. You sleep well and have a good day tomorrow. Have a nice day off tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you for popping in, Socks.
Mm-hmm.
And slip yourself into that drunken pocket tomorrow. Not too drunk, but drunk enough for Orbital Blues, which we all need to be in that pocket, to be honest, for Orbital Blues. The style of Orbital Blues we play. Great game. Ours is just a bit carry on. Good choice. Right, that Yana can go. So, see, Croy's turned back. Spids. Croy was playing virtual reality, and he's actually come back to chat with you. How about that? That's kudos. Anyway, sorry, my heart is full. Where were we? Heart's full of socks like a washing machine.
Yeah. You have the permission to go and talk to the clinic if you want to, and we were about to indulge because of that, not necessarily immediately, but in some form of shopping episode. It seems
fine. Mm-hmm. It's been so long since we've done a shopping episode. As they go out, Cara will turn around and say, "Is there anyone I can get any grenades or anything on this nice cruise ship?" She sort of laughs. It's obviously a joke.
Yeah,
but
the sort of look from Sharp is sure, and she pulls open a drawer and looks up and says, "Do you want to get out now?"
So love you. See you soon. Bye.
And says, "What kind of grenade is that? Is that a good one?"
It's the deadliest. It kills every conversation dead. Oh, let's go. Let's get some med kits.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys head out of Sharp's office and back down the corridor, and waiting for the lift to get up. And as the lift arrives, riding down in it is your friendly neighborhood journalist.
Oh. Oh, hey.
Hi.
Do you two know each other? Bagman, I'll say to come.
I wish. Do you not recognise who this is?
Agnar didn't get to being general and not learn the look at the name badge and then say, "Oh yeah, of course."
What was your favourite? Sorry, what was your favourite article that she's written? She's famous. Which was your favourite?
Well, it's hard to pick a favourite. How can you couldn't pick a favourite one of your vlogs, could you? I couldn't pick a favourite one of your vlogs. They're all so different and unique in their own individual way.
Totally flat panning back. Kara's like, yeah. The one on Geeker was my favourite.
Oh.
The one, where we met. Oh, I've forgotten her name now. I've got to roll down for it. Stupid. Cat, yeah. Thank you. The one where I chat with Cat was clearly my favourite.
Oh,
come on, don't throw that at me.
Obviously, if you make a lifelong friend whilst doing it, then it's gonna be a favourite, isn't it? But
don't fob it off, Agnar. What's your favourite?
To your average reader, it's that isn't emotionally tied into the writing of the article. It's hard to pick a favourite, and he'll turn to her and say, "What was your favourite that you've written?"
My favourite's always the next one.
It's the one about all the veals being sold in Alaska was her favourite. Next one. Where did you go anyway? You were down the end of the corridor. Where did you vanish off to?
Can you roll a persuade for me, please, with intellect?
Oh, yes. Which is probably okay. We'll find out. Because it's a 5. But it's a 5 plus 3 is an 8.
Okay. She smiles and says, "Well, I went to the scene of a little incident, which people are saying there was some kind of maintenance problem, and some people got hurt. And I went there to pick up some vid, and I was coming back to interview the head of security here. And I was thinking that might be a nice way to round out the story and just file a little bit about it in case anyone needed a follow-up. But the other thing I do when I visit these kind of things, I walk around and talk to anyone who's there and find out what they saw and what they thought about."
Yeah, that's right. You're a good journalist. That's exactly what you should do.
Yeah. And
the best, if I may say so.
You'll never guess what. I mean, it's probably some absolutely amazing coincidence. But about half a dozen people up there have pictures of you two leaving the area.
Pictures of us? What, like taking photos without what? You can't go around taking photos of people without their whoever
leaving the area.
Yeah. Well, of course you can. It's a public place.
Are you saying whoever they've got photos of has been papped by the general public?
I think more caught coming and going through a place where someone was photographing someone just to send a message to a friend, say, "Look, there's all this chaos going on, security guards coming and going, what do you think this is about?" And in some of those pictures, you guys appear.
Isn't there like 3 floors to each of those areas?
That's about right.
Oh, Interesting.
As this conversation is going on, Agnar pulls out his device and he snaps a selfie of the two of them with her.
Don't you pap me, Agnar. I swear to God, I'll pap
Public
you.
place.
I'll pap you good.
I can take the photo. I've just been told I can take whatever photo.
Kara pulls her device out and takes loads of picture of those, picture of those two together. I told you, I will pap you. So help me God.
So here's my question, because you might be able to provide me some insight into what happened there, and maybe you'd be willing to sit down with me for 10 minutes and just have a quick chat and fill in some details. Or alternatively, I can start walking around talking to everyone on board the ship, find out what on earth you guys are doing here, and seeing if I can get enough images, video footage, stuff taken by getting permission from the liner and so on to put together an entire timeline of your entire journey and everything you're doing here. Because I think that could be an interesting story. Or, as I say, we could sit down for 10 minutes.
You know, Agnar, I've always told you, haven't I? Reporters, right? They're dicks, right? Especially this one. I've always told you that, haven't I?
You have.
And she, Kara, so it's as they're getting in the lift, isn't it? So she'll say, just give us 1 second. And she goes to, we're not going to run off, we just need a conversation. And she presses the button to try and close the lift door so they can have like a conversation while what's her name's still in it, if that's okay.
Agnar just out the door. I've got to call my handler.
What do you think? What are you thinking, Agus? I think.
Quick out of character question, Ben. I suppose this might have been something that could have come up in character creation, but I didn't roll for it. Is there any? Would Agnar be being of the position that he got to in the military?
Yep.
Is there any sort of like aftercare service for military PR and his? Would there be someone he could contact and say, "Look, I've got a bit of an embarrassing situation. Can you take care of this for me?"
There are certainly
military.
I mean,
What,
he's
a bullet?
never needed it, obviously.
Whoa!
There are certainly people you could call to report any matters that caused you concern, but no message you could send would get to anyone like that for the next considerable period of time since you're in jump.
Yeah. He won't divulge such information. He'll just he'll have a little think and I'll say, well, I don't really fancy photos of us being plastered all around the place under whatever story she decides to print, but I'm less inclined to be passive aggressively strong armed into selling sharps short. She says she wants to get and Agnar will lower his voice a bit. She says she wants to get permission from the liner to get video and footage. Surely that's got to go through Sharp. We could have a word with her about this, couldn't we?
I think you can only share as much as Sharp's gonna accept at this point of view. Otherwise, we've lost Sharp forever if we go behind her back. Like, what are they going to get at? Exactly. I don't care what she gets about us. The cult is awkward because she probably already knows about the cult. Let's face it, because everyone seems to, and she's a reporter. She already knows much. She doesn't know that much more. She'll just blurt up that we're supporting the cult, which might make things tricky when we get to Geeka potentially. But I don't know. You could always torture her. You're good at that. That's like your thing.
It's at this point that the lift door opens again, and Sephran looks with a sort of almost predatory smile at the pair of you, and says, "So, buy me a drink."
Kara Kara enters the lift and sort of goes to put her arm around her and presses the button before Agnar can get in, if possible.
Okay.
And says, "Sure, I'll let's go to Duke's. I'll buy you a drink."
Okay. The lift door closes, and Agnar, you get to watch as the two of them, kind of arm in arm, ride up in the lift and out of sight. And that's where we'll take our break.
Agnar just shouts up, "But I want a drink too." It's been a stressful day, damn it. No, that is a good cutting point. I like it.
Yeah.
On which note, we'll be back in 5-10 minutes ish.
Yes. For the toast of toasts.
For the toasts of toasts, indeed. Charge your glasses and get ready for praise be unto Greyhound.
Yes, it will be a short break, and when we come back, it'll be time for the Grey Hill toast, and then we'll resume.
Fantastic. Right, let's set break up. Yep. Come back. Don't go anywhere, guys. You've stuck with us this long, so you might as well stick through 5 minutes of music, and we'll come back for a toast, and then we'll carry on. Good choice, Croydon. Whiskey is a fine choice. Right, let's go to the break. Graphic. Let's put some music on. That's some music. And then let's mute them. And then I shall go. See you guys in a few minutes. Grab a whiskey. Goodbye. Hello, everyone. Ben.
So, this is that point in the evening where it falls to me to reminisce a little about our fallen comrade, Greyhill Bast, a barman, a steward, a man who could assemble cocktail sausages 1,000 different ways, and cocktails even more. So, for some reason, I was thinking back to a conversation I had with him back in the day about his favourite sport, which to Soraya's horror was not, in fact, buckyball.
What?
Out towards the claw, he buckyball's less of a sport,
Oh.
and out there, people tend to focus more on a very different kind of game, much less civilized, called pawball, derived from an ancient sport played, I think, by the Aslan originally. And he was regaling me with the story of the Sector Cup. There's this enormous competition which brings together all of the worlds from that entire sector into one place every 4 years to play off a massive tournament. And for some reason, this was just sticking in my head this week. So the thing that impressed me about it, I think, was the individual narratives of the teams and their backgrounds and their stories. The way that in this giant tournament, according to Greyhill, the biggest and sort of regular sporting event there is. There was a team, I forget the name, that everyone sort of feared based on its past performances, but the year we were talking about, it had somehow failed to get out of the group stages and into the knockout part of the tournament for the second time running. There was a team that, in fact, has historically the greatest success of all of the competing teams, and in the midst of controversies and things like that in the tournament, kind of sneaked through without that much attention being paid to it, despite playing really quite well and possibly being a very real threat. But I have to say, though I can't now recall which team it was, he did impress me the most with the description of his own team. Apparently enjoying a good run of success during the tournament and beforehand, but constantly a source of controversy at home because that's how they approach things. And his tales of the sheer tension and fear every time they set foot on the pitch. The fact that he desperately wanted to watch, but at the same time could barely bring himself to, because every second his heart was pounding. And I wanted to tell you how that massive cup ended, as they left the group stages and went into the knockout, and obviously the tension rises and everything becomes more intense. But actually, I forget that part. It may come to me. I may make some reference to it later if I remember. But sadly, that part has slipped my memory, which may have something to do with his excellent making of cocktails. But in memory of the man himself, I think it is appropriate that we raise a glass and toast the late, great Greyhill Bast.
Oh, so the late, great Greyhill Bast.
Greyhill Bast.
Oh, to Greyhill, Christ. To Greyhill.
To Greyhill.
I hope that whiskey slid
can't
down.
Greyhill us, Luke. You've got infinite points.
I can Greyhill all I want. Infinite Greyhills. Cry, being a Scotsman as yourself, does your whiskey this evening have an E or no E to it?
Ooh. Now we're teetering on controversial.
It's the Celtic battle. Oh, Glenlivet, the Glenlivet. Wow, fair play. Quite right too. When I lived in Japan, I always fought for the no E whiskey at my local bar. I didn't really drink it, but they were big fans of Ardbeg and all that sort of stuff. But I tried to make.
Ardbeg is lovely.
Oh, it's
A
Peaty
mighty
lurking
drink,
avoid.
Ardbeg.
I tried to get all the no-E whiskies. I tried to make them get the no-E whiskies.
I mean, Lagavulin, I think, is my personal favourite of the lot. But yes, Ardbeg is a mighty, mighty drink.
It is indeed.
Right then.
Okay.
On that bombshell.
On
Right,
that
so-
bombshell, we turn our attention to Soraya, who, if you remember, was heading straight back towards the crew's quarters.
So Soraya freaked a little bit with the face that she saw, and then realising who it was, but then losing track of it in the crowd. Instead, redoubles her efforts to rush back to the quarters, to the lift. I assume she can make it to the lift okay?
Yes.
I can't even remember who's at the top of the lift now. We've lost track of all that sort of stuff, haven't we? Have you got it written down?
I haven't. I think it might actually... It's not Johnny, is it? It's...
Johnny and Stefan are on a break, I think. Not
Yeah.
not like a Friends version of a break. They're still talking.
No, they're still dating.
They're still dating very much so.
Stefan is definitely sleeping.
Oh, you know who it was? It's what's his name who Soraya watched all the buckyball with. He's been dragged up all drunk and miserable.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, that's true.
He had like 4 hours sleep after that big sesh the night before. And poor boy's been dragged out. I forget his name now. Oh, come on, Luke. Remember your own crew. If I don't remember it myself, I've got to remember it myself because it's rude if I don't remember it. And it'll come to me. Rick Verlo. Rick Verlo. She'll sort of glance at him as she runs past. You all right, Rick? Everything going okay?
Yeah, nothing to report. You?
Good. That's her. I've got things to report, but I'll let you know in a minute. I've just got to go and talk to Stefan.
Okay.
And she jumps in the slightly the heat scarred lift, presses the button, and to their floor, not the cultist floor.
So to the upper floor. Yep.
Bundles out the other end and rushes straight into their room, which I believe, if I go through my old notebooks, because it's very important. It's very important to remember the correct terminology for these things. And if I've got it right, I believe it might be the Jocks room, you know. I think it's the Jocks room. It is the Jocks room, because it's Stefan, Soraya, and Rick. She barges into the room that she's scrawled Jocks on the door badly.
Of course.
Barges through it. I don't know what state she's found. Because Stefan said he was going to wake up and then he lied about it, if you remember correctly. So it was that big team meeting. Yes. So she barges in assuming he's fully awake. Well, she knows he's not going to be. But she barges in, Stefan!
How long's it been, Ben, roughly speaking?
In all, it will have probably been a couple of hours. Stefan had, it might even be 3. Stefan had barely had any rest before the last attempt to drag him out of bed.
Yeah.
But this time he'll have had, 3 or 4 hours of proper downtime.
In which case he'll definitely be more alert than the last time she tried to wake him up. And in fact, he will be dressed, because the last time when he said he was going to go to the meeting, he would have perhaps realised that maybe if he sleeps in his clothes, then he can just wake up and bolt out the door. So he'll be fully ready to go. But yeah.
Oh, Stefan, why are you hiding that chest hair of yours?
I was just getting ready to go. I was resting my eyes for a couple more seconds.
God, resting your eyes. They look very rested. Well, although I haven't said that.
Thanks.
Have you thought about surgery for those bags? They're developing, mate. You know, there's There's a really good surgeon on Geek. We're going there, right? Someone can sort those out for you.
I hear there's an augment that just constantly draws away all the excess, whatever it is, fluid
Mate, it's,
underneath your eyes.
you know I've known you for a long time, but it looks like you've aged 10 years in like 3 days, mate.
I thought you were going to say since I've known you then, but
You wish. You've had that, maybe
Well,
hit that
it's-
age where just age catches up with you, you know.
no, I think I've hit that age where I can't pull all-nighters anymore. If I'm
What?
honest.
Our whole relationship's built on pulling all-nighters.
I mean, I'm still going to do them. I shouldn't.
Oh, why we're
Look at
just
the bags. Look at the
we're
bags.
just role playing ourselves now. This is not good.
Play to what you know.
Anyway, I've got
Yep.
I've got some stuff for you. And she unties the thing from around her waist and just like hurls it at him as he's propped up in bed. I got you this. I got you a special gift first and foremost.
No, I don't need any more fancy robes or hats or any. Look, well, I can't even. I'm too asleep. I can't even remember the title. I don't need any more Lord of Brunch stuff. It was funny. It probably still is funny, but let's not push it too far.
It is funny. It is funny. It is funny, but that's not what this is about. This is we while you were sleeping, we apprehended the third person that was trying to kill the cult. But I say apprehended, we killed her, and 2 other people got killed, and Kara nearly died. But she's okay now, I think. It's hard to tell with Kara sometimes.
He probably perks up a little bit. What?
What, the thought of Kara nearly
Everyone's
dying?
okay though.
Oh yeah, go team us. Yeah, we're all okay. And the cult are okay. They didn't get to them, and she died. She was hoisted by her own petard. I think that's the right terminology. I don't know. I'm not smart.
So you didn't really. It wasn't your fault.
No, I did the best I could. I helped out, but she had this, right. If you put your arm in, I know it won't fit properly, but put your arm in, have a little feel around the fingers. I know you got strong.
He definitely flinches at a moment when Soraya says she had this, and he immediately goes to the attacks and all of the bad things that these people have been doing. And the fact she is now dead. But then sees that she's gesturing to the thing that she just threw at him, and all right, holds out his arm.
Okay, you can stick your hand inside. It isn't suitable for you to wear. It's not the right size for you. However, you can get your hand inside, and you can feel the sort of control on the inside, and tell that the fabric is quite technological in nature. In fact, can you roll? I'm tempted to say, under the circumstances, a streetwise check.
I knew you were going to say streetwise. Thanks, man. Because I was going to argue for it anyway.
I could feel it coming.
That is a 6, however, +2, and nothing for intellect. So that's an 8.
Okay. The exact design of this one is not familiar to you, but you're able to assess what it is pretty quickly. It's made of chameleon fabric, and you've seen things like it before.
Yeah, it's. I'll turn to Sarai. Yeah, it's nice. You can feel the quality. It's a good thread count.
Good thread. I suddenly feel like I don't know you.
It's chameleon fabric.
Okay, now you're talking. Yeah, it made her invisible when she threw it on.
How did you find her?
When Kara has a thing for EMPs.
Yeah, I have been around. A few.
She used 2 of them, and each time she used them, it kind of stopped working. Which means there's electronic. You felt in the hand, right? There's some electronics down in the hand. She did something with her fingers. She did some sort of jiggery, pokery with her fingers, and then she'd go invisible. And the best thing, it's got this really cool hood, big hood, and she threw it over her head. And so when the lights went on and the EMP stopped, you just couldn't see her. And
Yeah,
we know
they're
it's
normally veiled. Correct
hard.
me if I'm speaking out of character. Then.
You're so
Yeah,
right.
there's a hood you sort of pull over the front.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'd just be a floating face, and that'd be useless, wouldn't it?
well, funny you should mention
maybe
that.
not useless.
we thought that it's good to have, and Kara's the smallest of us, so she can probably try it. But if it don't fit for her, between us, we can probably work something out that we can at least create some kind of robe or something that creates some kind of invisibility. It might be quite fun, right? Back to the old days of your roguing, classic Stefan roguing.
See, this may be I don't know this.
Is this like a cheat code for you?
You guys are pretty smart. No.
I don't want to like.
I know a guy once who had one of these and it got a bullet hole in it through various reasons, and once the fabric was no longer complete, it just didn't seem to work. I mean, it might have been a
just don't stand in the way of bullets.
Component issue, but I think if we all I'm saying is if we cut it up, I'm not sure how it works.
Are you looking a gift horse in the mouth, Stefan?
No, you guys are smart.
Do you know what I've told you about this?
I'm just.
It's all right, George Michael. You ever heard of George Michael? I used to listen to him quite a bit when I was scouting. Old Terran singer from back in the day, a long time ago.
No, it sounds horrific.
No, it's good. The music they play is in a different key, so it takes a bit of getting used to. But it's pretty good. I'll play it to you sometime. He said about having faith, something about faith. He must have been a religious man.
Possibly a member of the diaspora.
Exactly. Yeah, he'd have got on well with those guys downstairs.
I mean, look, I'll try it, and Stefan will try and squeeze into it.
I'm afraid it's not going to fit. No.
You've been having too many brunches, Stefan. Look at that.
No, it is built for a physically fairly slight female.
Halfway up his calves. Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. Zip it up a bit.
It's a good job no one can see me because I look like an idiot.
At least I'm invisible.
The zip would get caught on all that chest hair anyway.
That's true.
Anyway,
I think maybe. I think maybe someone else. It would be best suited for someone else, or perhaps, as you say, we can have a little play with the technology.
Well, we can pass it.
If we ever find someone that sells one of these, I need to get fitted for one.
Oh,
Ben, out of character, would I know? Is this legal hardware in the Imperium?
I mean, there are places where it wouldn't be legal, but for the most part, because it's not a weapon, it would largely be legal in most places.
Cool. Yeah, if we find anywhere, it's a good piece of kit.
Oh, we could be an invisible team. We could go around pretending we're the wind and knocking people's hats off and things.
That's all I wanted. That's all I would use it for. Knock people's hats off.
Yeah, not for misery.
Swap some drinks around at the bar.
Oh.
No. Think of the things we could plant in Agnar's fur if he couldn't see us.
If someone drops a few credits, you just keep pulling it away as if the wind's taking it away from them. Every time they lean over to pick it up, just pull it away a little bit more. Oh,
yeah,
the japery.
That is what I tell you. That is the use that these things. If they weren't made for it, that's what they should have been made for.
I think what you need is one designed for a dog, so you can walk an invisible dog.
And the lead's just bouncing around. It'd be perfect. Sadly, Stefan, the woman that wore this wore it to attempt mass murder.
It's really disheartening when you tell me things like that.
So I'm not very good at jumping from high to low. You know me.
No, I know.
I'm not very good at the slide down. I'm sorry. I'm not good at ramps.
I mean, they have their nefarious uses, but generally speaking, people will pickpocket or just go unseen and perhaps commit a crime, but nothing as heinous as that. Not in my experience, anyway.
Right, you are the master of crime, Stefan.
That's not true. Don't tell people that.
Oh, I know what I was going to talk to you about as well. So I was rushing back to tell you, and one of the diaspora, you know, the ones that we all bundled back downstairs, all safe and sound, and snug as a bug in a rug.
Yeah.
One of the women, she's escaped.
What do you mean? They're not prisoners.
I know, but we're supposed to know when they come and go, right? Like the Karma Chameleon. So another pop reference. So many years just on my own in
Is
my
that another
shit.
George Michael song?
Pretty much. Some George someone. Formby, maybe? All those years. I was by myself for like 12 years, mate.
Who's on guard duty?
I believe it's probably the most hungover man in this known universe. So he's probably not the best man to have a Rick's up there. And I've got a feeling, I don't know who else it is. There is someone else, but I don't know who it is because half our crew's injured and I was gone. I knew it wasn't me, so I left. I think I've got a feeling. Oh, it was supposed to be me, but someone took my place. It's not Zoe. She's knackered. It might be Kat, maybe. No, Kat's knackered.
No, Cat's knackered and slightly injured. I
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's just Rick.
I think it's Sammy.
Oh, that might be the problem then. I don't think Sammy was expecting to be pulling a shift. We need to check with her because she might not. I don't think she was part of the discussions properly.
Does the diaspora member know that you've seen them?
Ben. Did they look at me as I clocked them? From what I can tell.
I'll tell you what. Roll a streetwise check for me with intellect.
Oh, okay, already. Streetwise with intellect. I haven't said this so far to those watching. In Traveller, you roll 2 dice and you add some skills. There's a sheet that loads this. Ignore this sheet; it's knackered. You get to add some skills. So if you look at the top of the screen, I'll bring Sarah up now. Anything? So what did you say? Intellect.
Yes, please.
So her intellect is 9, which means it's a +1 to my roll. That's one of the stats. And what other skill do I get to add to it?
It will be streetwise.
Streetwise. So Ben, as the referee, will decide which of the many skills in Traveller fits. Now I've got a streetwise of +1, so she's good on the street. She's quite smart, so I get a +2. So I roll 2d6, and generally I need to hit an 8 or more. Some checks are harder. A couple are easier, Ben, from time to time. Occasionally. Not with Ben, but generally I'm trying to hit an 8 or more with my 2d6 plus those. Sometimes it's higher. Sometimes it's a lot higher. I've failed anyway because I've hit a 4 and a 1, which is a 5, plus my 2 is a 7. 7's the worst number.
Okay. You have no real way of knowing. It was a momentary flash of a person, and you can't really recall any detail.
I was a momentary flash of the person. I can't recall any detail. I think what we need to do is go down, maybe check with Sammy, because I don't know if she was fully clued into the expectations. Look,
Do you think they were?
Carry on.
Were they following you?
I don't know. When I looked over, Ben, were they part of a crowd? Were they watching the Bucky Ball? Were they in a bar?
Impossible to tell. They were just there one moment, gone the next, and you don't have any strong sense of what they were doing before or after, or even in the moment you caught their face.
They were there one moment, gone the next. I have no strong sense of what they were doing before or after or in the moment. I just saw the face. That's all I can tell. I was focused on coming back, and I panicked, so I ran back. I didn't know what to do. I think
no. I think you did the right thing.
Thank you.
Not that you need my.
I feel I need to now. I feel
approval.
I need it. Oh.
No, of course not.
You're giving it, so now I feel like I need it now. What do you think of what I'm wearing? Is this acceptable for this ship today?
Don't twist my words. Use them to your own ridiculous means. Make it seem much worse than it actually is. Listen, my main. I mean, I'd worry if they were following you. What with everything that's been going on, I'm worried that they're out. To be honest, I think you're right. We need to let Sammy know that they need to be all looked after. They can't just leave on their own. You need to mark it down for a next performance review as well. I'll let you have that conversation.
Why did you do the quote marks with your fingers when you said looked after? That was very sinister.
No. You know me. I'm skeptical. I'm a little bit cautious of everything, and the fact that you just happen to see them amongst these three attacks as you're wandering around the ship in search of cheesy balls, it doesn't sit right.
What I do in my spare time's up to me.
No, it's not your spare time I'm worried about. It's them following you or them having caring about what you're doing, I suppose. You know?
Yeah, you speak wisely. Let's go down.
It leads. It makes me think there's some deeper meaning behind it all. There probably isn't. You know how crazy people are.
Have they got to you with all that talk of like your 20,000 credits to join them and stuff?
No, if they had, I wouldn't have said anything. I'd just let them follow you around the ship and do whatever they want.
I don't know if I can trust you now. I feel like they've wooed you with the
maybe I'm following
the chance
you.
to level up. Yeah.
Ooh.
To join the cult, to join the diaspora, the faith. Wait, are you calling it the? Would you say it's the diaspora or the faith, Stefan? This is a test.
The people we're looking after?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the diaspora.
Okay, you're okay. You're still sound. Okay. Let's go down and talk to Sammy.
Okay. So you head down in the lift to the bottom, where you find Sammy sort of stretched out on a chair, and there are people coming and going, of course, and going up and down the lift to the middle level of the area. She looks up. Hey.
Sarah nudges Stefan forwards. Go on, do your management stuff. You're well good at this.
Sammy, we weren't sure whether you'd been fully informed. Soraya and I are very much aware that you've sort of been thrown into this situation. You've accepted the responsibility in the heat of the moment very well, and we're thankful for that, aren't we, Soraya?
Oh, you stepped up like an absolute queen. We really appreciate it. With all these people getting injured, you've nailed it. Thank you, Sammy, because I know you're recovering yourself from our... How are you feeling after your crate bite on Delabra? Are you fully recovered?
Pretty much, yeah.
Good. But we do feel it's important to obviously let you know exactly what's going on at this point. We've been hired to look after this group of, and he gestures around to all the people milling around and up and down in the lift. This group of people, there's a bit of it's quite a toxic atmosphere on the ship towards them, probably wider than the ship, if I'm honest. And there have been, as of now, three attacks, Soraya? 3 attempted attacks?
Yeah, I've been there for
2.5.
For all of them. 3.
Right.
3 attempts. 3 attempts.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are, we're looking to keep them all as isolated as possible in the secure location that is their quarters. Obviously, they can travel up and down to different floors if they need to, I suppose, but not the main causeway without any sort of protection or eyes on them.
Won't they starve to death?
Well, no, that's why Kara's bringing them brunch every. How often did we arrange for that, Savannah?
I thought you were doing it.
They've had.
I think it was a total of once, actually.
they've had trips. We took them out to the hot tub area.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
they all came with us, you know, or at least the ones
I-
that were coming along came with us, and it
I
was
made
very
I made
much.
sure they had tomatoes to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Some well-made tomato soup. Oh, I guess what I'm trying to communicate here in too many words, but to be plain and clear, that no member of the diaspora is to wander around by themselves without any protection. Or
Okay.
even in groups of two, you know, if they split up into two groups and somebody's with group 1 and someone's group 2, that's fine. But we need to make sure we've got eyes on all of them.
I don't think we necessarily have the personnel for that if they all go off and do different things.
Which is why keeping them down here occupied with a hearty brunch is a very important task. Soraya, yeah?
Isn't that your task, Stefan? You and Johnny. We need Johnny awake because the two of you are the bailiff of brunch and the lord of the feast.
Well, we need the bringer of brunch.
Well, we can get. I'll tell you what. Why don't we, Sammy? You tell them that the bailiff of brunch will provide. It's sort of late afternoon now, I guess, isn't it? So yeah, we'll get something in the next couple of hours. We'll wake him up. We'll give him a chunk of chip money, and get a hearty brunch. But they really need to. We're worried about them going up and down because if they're up there, they could get beaten up. The mood is icy, glacial up there to them.
It is.
It's interesting you use that word because one of the things they want to do at the next available opportunity is go and visit the ski slope.
Of course they do.
Shotgun.
Yeah. What have you still got your red jumpsuit that Cara made you get?
Of course I have.
It's good. It's a good. She was right. It's very fashionable. You know, it's so fashionable. There's no one else on the slopes with it. You're really cutting edge.
Frankly, I wouldn't care if I wasn't. I think it looks cool. But anyway, thank you, Sammy. You haven't. I mean, it's not. We would never blame you, especially considering the poor communication in the task at hand. But you haven't seen anyone, you know, just wander off, have you?
A few of them have gone up.
Really, it's our fault. If he looks at
various points, a few of them have gone up for a bit, not for very long.
Oh. Are there any that have gone up that you haven't accounted for returning yet?
No, I think everyone's back.
We feel like we're short of a lady.
Well, the blonde Vanessa came back recently.
Vanessa.
Just a few minutes ago.
Oh. Soraya will sort of be drawn to that. Ask that question because she's going to be drawn the way you say that.
where does she head to?
Her quarters. I think she's gone to bed.
As sort of Stefan asked that and Sammy answers it, Soraya will follow the finger. If that's okay.
Of course.
And sort of step over. There's a lot of mattresses around, isn't there? There's a lot of mattresses.
Oh yeah, in that area there are mattresses out in the sort of common area where people are sitting, dozing.
Soraya will get sort of close to where the pointed, and then she'll start calling, "Blonde Vanessa, Blonde Vanessa."
One of the diaspora sort of opens slightly bleary eyes and points at one of the doors.
Thank you. May the bailiff of brunch be with you. And Soraya walks over to the door and enters, if that's okay.
Yep.
What's
the door opens. Vanessa is not actually in bed, but getting ready for bed.
Is it the face that Soraya saw?
Yeah.
Hey, Vanessa, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
So I saw you out and about earlier. Is everything okay?
Yeah, just went to stretch my legs, really. It's a bit claustrophobic here. I'm not used to staying in such enclosed spaces.
I totally get that, and I'm 100% like I'm the same. I used to go crazy on my ship, stuck in a cockpit for a week or two on end. You start marching around this tiny space, you know what I mean? But with all this, with all this attempted violence and that, we're worried about people wandering off on their own. Let's put it that way. We don't want you to to meet a sticky end.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we were talking about maybe heading to the ski slopes tomorrow, but that will be as a big group.
Damn. You know what happened last time you went somewhere as a big group?
Oh, yes.
You remember
Yes,
that?
I do remember that.
And that was when the space was empty, right?
Yeah.
Is everyone's heart set on this skiing expedition?
The Pope thinks it's important.
And we can't go against what the Pope says, right?
It's important that we do what he thinks matters.
And he wants to go to Herrenhal, doesn't he?
We all do. That's our spiritual home.
Are there many trials and tribulations in your like the teachings and that? Are there expected to be trials and tribulations on your way to Herrenhal?
Well,
Give me the free version, not the 20,000 credit version.
it's I don't know if that they necessarily relate to us, but in the histories there are stories of things that had to be overcome.
Would you say I know, and I know there are things that are for you to know and for me not to know. I totally get that. I totally get that. But you understand our position in trying to look after you, so please talk in that relationship with us, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Are the things that have happened to you so far the horrible incident in the hot tub, the explosions upstairs, which you've no doubt heard about, words got around, the angry crowds and so on. Do 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 you all see that as part of those trials and tribulations?
All I can tell you is they strengthen our resolve.
Of course. Would your resolve? These are things that sort of redouble your belief in that what you're doing is the right way, I guess.
Yes, I feel very strongly that if we face a challenge, that only convinces me what we're doing is right.
How do you feel about other people dying in the crossfire if these things happen?
We are peaceful. Nobody, we would never support anybody getting hurt.
So you would see the trials, which to you are things that redouble you. You know, things that you must happen. They happen naturally. These things happen. But if people were to die because of that, you would be aghast, appalled at the situation of that,
It would be terrible.
and you couldn't support that as an approach. I guess that would be a horrible thing.
I mean,
If someone
they're horrible. It's horrible that anyone attacks us, and it's just as horrible if, as you say, in the crossfire, someone else gets hurt.
Hopefully, there will be no more trials aboard this craft, and hopefully,
Hope so.
hopefully you can get to Harrenhal. You know that might not be as straightforward as you may hope.
None of us have ever seen it, of course, but it's what we dearly want. It would be the proper end to our journey.
It would be, and we're very blessed, aren't we, Stefan? She sort of turns around and shouts at the door. We're very blessed to be part of their journey, aren't we? Their pilgrimage.
Yeah. We're pleased to be here.
We're happy that we can play a part in keeping you safe to that point. You understand that it's at great cost to ourselves, of course.
Well, I hope you're being rewarded.
To some extent. What was that, Stefan?
No, I was just going to ask how open the rest of this conversation has been. Would Stefan have heard it?
Not until Soraya called out. No.
Okay, cool. Then please go
on. Anyway, I think so. You understand that our task is part of your pilgrimage. We've been given a very specific role, although yes, we are paid for it, but that is part of the role. Our role is to do the best we can to keep you safe, at least until you get to Geeka. That is our role in your holy pilgrimage. You understand that, right?
Absolutely.
And so you understand why we want you to be careful about going up where there is violence and danger. Although it strengthens you, part of our role, of course, and not wanting to get injured and hurt ourselves or any innocent people, is to keep you to avoid that possibility.
Absolutely.
So you will understand if one of our group talks to security about the skiing situation before you just go all together. Would you? We know that
if you feel that's helpful and necessary, then of course.
We know you have the ear of the Pope as much as one can, of course. That he takes your word with good grace, and so if you could share that potentially, that offer our thanks and our forgiveness, but we would like to make sure that things are cleared and safe beforehand. That's part of your pilgrimage.
Yes, yeah, that would be fine, of course.
Thank you. Well, we're all going to all of us want a nice quiet evening tonight, and a good sleep. Look, Stefan, come here. Can you see the bags under his eyes?
Stop poking my face.
It's a man that needs a good 8 hours. And so I'm sure for all of us, we could do with a quiet night. And if you could put that word around to all of you to stay down, as we all will, we can really attack tomorrow's sort of afternoon and evening with good gusto.
Okay, that sounds excellent.
Thank you. Now, come on, Stefan, let's find that surgeon.
Okay. And as you two move off, we shall cut and go to Agnar, who is in the security corridor with Sharp's office at the end.
Yeah, has the lift's gone up, right? The doors are closed, the lift's gone up. He'll head down to the office and knock on the door.
Come in.
And he'll enter. Apologies, I know we haven't had much time to get into trouble, but you know
It's been like 4 minutes. You haven't had time to kill anyone else, surely.
Well, no. In fact, the reason I'm here is because we didn't kill somebody else, but we do have an issue. The reporter from before. Sorry, Ben. Agnar would totally remember her name, but I don't.
Saffron.
She met us. We met her at the bottom of the lift shaft on our way back down here. And she reliably informs us that members of the public have footage of us leaving the scene of the incident that she was led to. She, in not so many words, basically told her that we could have a 10-minute sit down and a drink with her and tell her what had happened, or she would go digging around for the entirety of our movement on the ship.
Yeah, I see the problem, because obviously you can't have her digging around what you're doing on the ship, because that leads to lots of uncomfortable questions about the diaspora and potential threats and dangers on the ship. But equally, you can't sit down and tell her about what was happening at the incident, because that will actually lead to the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, more importantly, we don't want to sell you short either. Which obviously sitting down and being frank about the incident would do. But I also worry that if she were, depending on how good she is at her job, if she was to dig deep enough, she would certainly find communication records between the two of us just before the event. And I wouldn't want anything to lead back to you. And we certainly don't want to be portrayed in a less than ideal light in the media. Probably more me than Cara, if I'm honest. But you know.
Then I suppose if you can find a way to cooperate with her enough to keep her on side without giving her anything too catastrophically awful, then do it. And if you need to offer her an interview with me in exchange for her leaving you guys alone, I will come up with something to tell her.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. What's the official line at the minute on the incident?
No comment at the moment. We're allowing people to believe it was a maintenance issue that led to some injuries. We're not making an official announcement of anything else yet.
And I assume that it would be preferable if we didn't say that a maintenance issue on the ship endangered anybody.
I'd like you not to confirm anything that will later be proven to be not true, because eventually we will have to make a statement as to what happened. I don't really want to make it while we're on board the ship.
Sure.
The less time we spend talking about a sequence of multiple fatality terrorist attacks happening left, right, and centre. I mean, the less we announce that to thousands of people stuck together in an enclosed space, the better.
Ideal situation, I suppose. Then we arranged to give her an exclusive on Geeka.
If she'll bite, yeah.
Okay. I'll as ever, I'll be in touch. I'll let you know how we get on. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for the advice.
Yeah. We're not officially releasing a cover story at this point about it being a maintenance issue. Understand? We've just quietly told a couple of our security people on duty to tell anyone who asks that they think it's a maintenance issue and there were a couple of injuries. In a ship like this, it turns out you don't actually need to make an official statement. If a couple of security people say they think that's what happened, then it becomes the truth in a matter of minutes as people tell each other. But before the end of the trip, we will have to make some kind of public announcement, but we can probably wait until we're out of jump before we do that, unless we suddenly have to deal with an actual journalist broadcasting facts.
Yes, yeah, of course, that makes perfect sense. I'm not particularly familiar with the tech behind it. Obviously, Cara would be, but at the very least, she can't publish anything wider than the ship until we leave jump.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do your best. Let me know if you need my help.
Yeah, we will do. Cara's with her now. I'll shoot her over a message and let her know what you've told me, and if we've got any problems, I'll let you know the outcome either way. Also.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And as you leave, because you actually dealt with that pretty swiftly, I suspect you'll be able to fire a message to Kara that she'll get before they've even sat down at Duke's.
Wonderful. He'll dump as much as he can into the message. You know, don't lie. Sharp will come out with an official statement, a truthful official statement eventually. Just not whilst we're still in jump and the ship hasn't disembarked. If need be, we can offer her an interview, you know, and he'll go through pretty much everything in as fewer words as possible, I guess, to make it quick.
Okay, yeah. So just a very simple message that says that basically don't lie, but try to fob her off a bit if possible.
Yeah, can offer up an interview with Sharp if need be. Be non-specific, non-committal, we think, in quotation marks.
Okay. So, Kara, as Agnar makes his way back down the security corridor, you are literally entering Duke's with Ruma Sefron.
Miss Saffron, what drink would you like? I'll buy it. Don't worry, I'll buy. We have funds.
White Rockfall, please.
Oh, you been on Dilabru long? That's very much a drink of a Dilabruian.
Just passing through, really.
So taking a taste to it. I'll have a so she orders a large one of them, and Cara will have she'll have a bottle of beer, please.
Okay. How
much am I paying them?
6 all in.
Oh, it's hardly worth rubbing anything else. As I run, it's the paper. I have to rub extra carefully so I don't rub through the paper at this point. Cara takes the drinks. I'm assuming there must be a table free. It's mid-session, right? The game's still on.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, you wind your way through. There are tables that are occupied, but you wind your way through to find a small one off in the corner, a little bit away, and the two of you settle down.
Cara will have sort of looked at her message as she was at the bar ordering the drinks, so she's seen what Agnar said. And as they go over to the bar, she raises her glass for a little clinky clinky.
Mm-hmm.
If Saffron will do that. And she takes a big glug out of the bottle of beer. And she says, right, what can I do for you then, Miss Saffron? The mighty, the great.
Saffron swirls the Rockthol in the glass, takes a sniff and then a sip and puts it down. And she sort of just smiles across the table at Cara and she says, for a journalist, there are 3 types of people: consumers, sources, and the subjects of stories. The opportunity for you to be a mere consumer is long gone. So it's time to pick source or subject. And that's where we'll call it for tonight.
Oh. Good, I can choose which one I want to be. Oh.
Okay.
She's Fess in disguise.
She's Fess in disguise.
I can sense it.
You know what's most annoying about this is I'm out next Friday, so we don't have a traveller next Friday, do we?
Luke.
We've got a run of like 3 after that, but that's my Friday. I'm not available. Oh, it's a long cliffhanger. Croy's got it. You know, Croy would flat bat it straight back again. He'd be like, nah, just give me another whiskey. Don't care. Just keep talking.
Yep. Well, we will.
Yes,
we will resume the story in a fortnight.
Oh, on my birthday.
It's a lot of time for Cara to decide what she wants to do.
Yeah, you need to be nice to me because that is my birthday stream, the 16th, Ben. So no meanness.
Doesn't that mean you need some bumps?
No,
I'll try and work out how to make bumps happen.
Virtual bumps. You can't be mean for the first hour, but when it hits the 17th, it's fair game. Yes, Corey, my birthday's on the 16th.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
In 2 weeks,
'Cause
2
chances
Fridays time. It's so close to Christmas, I can't use my vouchers at Ask. They don't allow vouchers that close. So it's prejudice. It's prejudice against Christmas birthdays,
Really,
mate. I tell you.
because you haven't brought that up at all before.
No, I've not mentioned it.
I've
Not
heard this
mentioned
story
it
once.
on Twitter and Facebook. Oh my
Oh.
God. I'm raging about it.
Yeah.
I'm so angry about it. Now's a good time. to tell you
You
that.
think that's bad? My birthday falls in that bit where when I was at school it was in term time, but when I got to university it was in holidays,
Oh,
which is just the worst arrangement possible, because at school it means you get bumps, you understand, and everybody picks on you on your birthday. And by the time you get to university, when you're actually thinking this will be great, we can hang out with all the mates and head down the bar together, you know, it's just not happening because you're on holidays at that point. It's awful.
everyone's gone.
Yeah, such is life. We all have something about these things that irritates us.
There's all something. See that Croy's a similar Christmas. So for some reason, it might be the bottle of very nice wine I've had this evening, but we need to make Croy come and play a game with us sometime.
That would be nice.
That would be very
That
nice.
really would be nice.
Yeah, no one's got any money at that point, Croy. Everyone's out of money mid-Jan.
That is a bleak time of year.
My daughter's 12th of January. That is tough to try and make sure we got money for a party for her or something. Oish, oish. Fair play to you there. That is bleak.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, turn to your scotch. That's the way to cope.
That's your answer to everything, Ben.
It is my answer to absolutely everything. Scotch and curry basically are the ways to happiness.
Oh, that's it. Fair enough. That calculates to me. Makes sense.
Yes. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this evening.
Indeed.
Whether live or on board, and thank you guys. That was fun.
Yeah, that was. It felt like a good chunk of role playing, but moving things along quite nicely. I feel there's
we seem to cover a fair amount, actually.
Lots of little tidbits in there
For us. At least
just picking out the important ones.
We almost did a minute for minute. Our role playing takes longer than the actual game is generally. I feel like we almost did a minute per minute this time.
Yeah, yes, that probably was close to the right length.
Thanks, Croy. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Croy.
Appreciate Croy.
Cheers, Croy.
And we appreciate all the other people that are still watching and lurking. We appreciate you, and thank you so much for joining. It's nice. It's nice to play on a Friday night, isn't it? We've all got busy lives.
It is good. It's a lovely way to end the working week as well. So tomorrow we are doing Firefly Bebop, aren't we?
We've got the Blues.
Orbital Blues.
It's the non-working weekend, yeah. So Sock Fiddler is joining us, and I will be taking up the reins as Dreamweaver or whatever it's called. I know that's the thingy one, isn't it? I'll be GMing.
Lord of the Blues.
I'll be Lord of the Blues. Whereas these two and Socks will be annoying me by totally going off script as always. All my carefully, and I'm just following, half following the script and half myself. And then they see the road, they put their feet on the road, they sort of sniff the road, and then they just wander off into the bushes.
I'm so glad that you acknowledge the approach towards the road, Luke. Though, 'cause, we try.
You try,
and then at the last minute.
And then I have to name 70 different things that are behind the bushes.
Imagine what that would be like, having players who didn't follow the clearly marked path.
I'm not sure, but I kind of feel, like I'm the odd one out here. That whenever I run anything, you guys have pretty much just gone straight for it.
Yeah, but we murder hobo at Troika. That's got its own downside. We go the other way. We go the other way in Troika. I've written lots of stuff down for tomorrow, so you have to land on that place now. If you change your mind, I'm screwed.
Okay.
So just let that be a fair warning. If you want a good session,
You can
land
actually
where we
say
planned.
completely literally, they must land. It is written.
If you're like, actually, we'll change our mind. Your ship's engine breaks. You can only land on this place. Don't want to land. You're floating in orbit. A ship comes from the surface to pull you down. You will get there.
Excellent. Right. Well, I will see you guys tomorrow night. Hope plenty of people in chat and what have you can join us, because Orbital Blues is great fun and slightly different from this, but it's still science fiction and it's still a very lived-in universe with lots going on. So hopefully,
character banter, which is always fun.
and there's a lot of that. Yeah,
There's a lot of double entendre. I'll tell you that.